Greetings. My name is Letitia Hensley, and I'm the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Director of Family and Community Engagement. We are excited that you are joining us today and know you will gain great insight from this session. At the conclusion of today's session, please provide feedback so that we can continue to support you with amazing sessions that will be provided throughout the year. Now, without further ado, we'll turn it over to our presenters.
Hello, CMS friends and families. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Kendra Alston, and I am one of the elementary curriculum specialists for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. And I'm joined by my math counterpart,
Sonia Gregory.
Can't see Sonia right now, but she is here, trust me. And together we will share literacy and math resources that are available to you. So let's get started. Waiting for control. And here are images of our curriculum specialists for elementary. We have the elementary literacy team, and we have the elementary math team. Just put some faces to names. So our time together, because we want to make sure that we maximize your time. We know this is a lunch and learn, so that does indicate we have a short amount of time with you. We want to make sure that it's very productive and it's comprehensive, and you leave here with a lot of information. So we want to do the welcome and introductions. We will talk about the pillars of excellence, what to expect in quarter two. We're 2 weeks away from switching over to quarter two. We're going to do an overview of the resources located on the website, and also how to navigate the website. We will also look at examples of 2 family videos in grades 2 and 4. It's okay if you don't have a 2nd grader or a 4th grader, because we will also share some an overview of what the different grade levels are experiencing in math and literacy. So don't worry if you don't have a 2nd grader or 4th grader. We will give you a quick overview of the other grade levels as well. So it's time for roll call, and we want to know, you know where we're coming from, but we want to know where you are coming from. So just want to get an idea of which schools and what grades your children are representing or you are representing. If you can write this in the chat, which I don't think you have that capability, but there is an FAQ that you could write this in, that would be great. We just like to know where our parents are coming from. So we wanted to start off with just bringing you here. This is the pillars of excellence, and CMS, we have academic excellence, people excellence, operational excellence, and engagement excellence. And I could probably make a case that this part of what we do with the family engagement could really fall indirectly in all of the different pillars. We are here to really focus in on academic and engagement. So our vision is that we will effectively educate, engage, and empower families, community, and all staff to nurture the academic and personal development of all students so that they may graduate high school employed, enlisted, or enrolled. That is our vision. In order to support this vision, it's going to take all of us. And we know that you understand that, because guess what? You're here today with us. Thank you for supporting our vision. So we mentioned the word empowerment in our vision. So what is empowerment? That word power really stands out to me. We are giving you the power. Okay, that's what empowerment is here. So empowering parents is the key to unlocking your child's potential. When you are equipped as the family member with knowledge and the resources that it takes, you become the strongest advocate for your child's success. It's almost like if I know what to do, I can do it. Okay, if I know where to get the resources, I can do it. So it's important that we provide you with the tools to help you help your children at home. And that's going to be why we're here today. You like my graphics? But how do we do that? How do we empower you? How do we empower so many parents, so many families? How do we reach you? You may be thinking, how is it that you can support your child at home? What strategies do you have to work with your child at home, or what strategies exist to help your child at home? What are some of the activities that you can do with your child to reinforce what they are learning in school? You might also want to know, what are the available resources? We don't want to have to create things at home. You don't have to, because we already have them for you. The most powerful tool you can give someone is knowledge, and we're here to give you that today. But having access to knowledge means understanding how to utilize it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to talk about at each grade level, and it's going to be brief because we want to get to the videos to show you the grade 2 and grade 4 family videos that you can access on the website. We also want to show you how to walk through the website. But what we want to do first is give you just a brief, almost like a topic overview of what your students will be learning at each grade level in reading and math. So first we have kindergarten, okay? Kindergarten, the kinders. So in quarter 2, the topic of study is weather, and students will be learning through science and story with weather wonders. Okay, you will see this actual document that I'm sharing. It's actually on the website. I'll be able to show you that too. Okay, so you can read through the questions that maybe you could ask your child at home to help engage them with the topic that's happening in school. And I'll be able to share that with you when we go through. And so I'm going to let Sonia tell you about math.
Hi there. Kindergarten students are going to dive into their geometry unit during quarter 2, specifically in unit 3. During this time, kindergarten students are going to learn that sometimes things are always true about shapes, while at other times things will change. For example, a triangle has 3 sides. That won't change. But the color of a triangle inside of their workbooks or in the environment may change. So students will come to learn about shapes, how they are the same, how they're different, what's true, and what's not always true.
Now we're moving on to first grade, quarter 2. And in literacy, the topic is what's up in the sky. It's a study of the sun, moon, and stars. Students will be engaging with big ideas like, what do authors write about? The sun, moon, and stars. What patterns can we observe in the sky? And how do authors use their knowledge and observations to write a story? And then in first grade math, I'm sorry.
In first grade, students start to work with their team numbers. They move from working with a group of 10 in kindergarten to 10 and some more. That some more leads to place value concept developments later on in the school year. Students will add and subtract 2-digit numbers up to 20 using what they know about 10 and some more.
And in second grade, The topic of study is learning through science and story, fossils tell of Earth's changes. So they will be looking at paleontologists and what paleontologists do. Can you believe that's going on in second grade? I think when I was in second grade, we probably didn't even know how to spell paleontologist. I don't know. But they are studying paleontologists and what they do, and how do characters respond to major events. Very high level. And then we have other questions. What can we learn from studying fossils? And how do readers learn more about a topic from informational text? Because we do a lot with literature, but this is a focus on informational text. And how do authors write compelling narratives? Moving on to second grade math.
In second grade math, unit 3, students learn about length. They learn that length is a way to describe a shape. They learn that length can be measured in real standard units, not just with ordinary craft sticks and other objects. They use inches and centimeters to measure. Students also do this by using base 10 number system concepts. So they may build a measuring tool based on 10 in groups of 10 and then use that tool to measure objects, aligning place value concepts to the idea of measuring.
Wow, they're doing a lot, Sonia. All right, and in third grade, it's all about researching to build knowledge and teach others, like adaptation and the wide world of frogs. You're going to learn so much about frogs, you're not going to know. You probably didn't even know it. So many frogs existed. Okay, it's going to be frogs, frogs, frogs. So just know that. I just want to go ahead and tell you that. So the questions around the big ideas and guiding questions is, how does an author engage the reader in a narrative? How do experts build knowledge and share their expertise about a topic? And how do frogs survive? Students will become experts in frogs. Let's look at third grade math.
Love it. They're going to be experts at adding 2 3-digit numbers and subtracting 2 3-digit numbers too in Unit 3. They do this by using place value strategies. In second grade, students learn place value to the hundredths place. In third grade, they continue that work, but they use it as a strategy to add and subtract. So when you see your students come home with numbers that they've broken apart so that they can add them by hundreds and then add the tens and then add the ones and then put it all together, just know they learn to use place value to add and subtract and to support more accurate computations.
Awesome. All right, so in fourth grade, the fabulous fourth grade. Quarter 2, we're researching to build and teach others about animal defenses. Yes, they're going to be learning about the pufferfish, the ostrich. It's so many different animals and their defense mechanisms. So they will know they will be able to answer these questions. How do animals' bodies and behaviors help them survive? And how can writers use knowledge from their research to inform and entertain? So they're going to be doing something very unique where they're going to be studying the informational piece, and then they have to write a narrative. They have to do like choose your own adventure. So they take what they know about that animal and create an adventure story talking about their defense mechanisms. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, let's see what's going on in fourth grade math. See if they can top that excitement.
Yes, in Unit 4, your students will be learning place value concepts, but this time they go to the hundred thousands place. Now check this out. Second grade, they went to the hundredths place. Third grade, there was no place value instruction. They just used what they knew from second. But in fourth grade, they jump all the way to the hundred thousands place. And they do this with whole numbers. Now, since these numbers are really big, maybe these are numbers that we can possibly, get the lottery ticket and the digits add up to be the same number of digits that your students are adding and subtracting. Who knows? But this is our place value unit. And just know that your students are now understanding that the digit to the left is 10 times greater than the digit to the right.
Ooh. So now we're in fifth grade. Da, 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 da. It's all about the research. Have you noticed the theme here? Have you noticed this theme moving from quarter 1 to quarter 2? We're in researching. They're in research mode. Researching to build knowledge and to teach others about biodiversity in the rainforest. So you see the common theme with the animals and the rainforest and nature. So some of the guiding questions: why do scientists study the rainforest? And how do authors engage readers in narratives? They love this unit. They love this module. So just look for all of that conversation coming on, because they're going to come home being experts in their field, because they will be researchers. What's happening in math?
Well, they might need to use some of this math to help them with this research because students are going to be multiplying and dividing fractions. One thing about fractions, fractions can be the gatekeeper to all things in the future, moving from percents, using decimals. Fractions are the underlying concepts of everything that students will be doing going forward and is needed basically to thrive in life. So ask yourself, are you smarter than a fifth grader? Because they're going to come home and they're going to show out and show you that they can multiply and divide fractions using various strategies.
That was so good to know, because that explains a lot when they miss that fraction piece, how that affects like sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade.
Yeah.
That's so good to know. Yeah, foundational. All right, so let's move on. We hope that gave you a good overview of the grade levels for both literacy and math. Now we're going to move on. How do I help my child with these resources? Like if I wanted to know how to help with fractions, or how do I even start the researching process, or what are narratives? I mean, I need to know these skills. Where do I go? So we want to share with you the website. The family website is something that we've been sharing this year, and we even have postcards coming to a school near you, but we do have postcards that we will share. But I do want to show you, before we actually do it live, how to access this. I want to show you what we're going to do. When we get to the CMS website, you will go to the Families tab. Once you click on the Families tab, you will scroll down. You have one of two doors to go in. You can go into the Learning and Technology Resources, or you can go into the Curriculum tab, okay? Here we're going to do the Learning and Technology Resources, okay? After you click the Learning and Technology Resources, you find the specific grade of your child or children. And we go elementary here. And here are the different grade levels, and you click on the grade level. Let's just say we're clicking on third, but it could be kindergarten. And then this is the kindergarten resources, but if you click on third grade resources will come up. So we're going to pretend we clicked on kindergarten resources, and you will see a family resource guide. You will see a guide, and it gives you all the skills. Guess what? Conference time is about to come up, and it even has the questions that you can ask your child's teacher, because sometimes we go in and we're just like, how are they doing? But these are specific questions that kind of relate right back to the skills that they're learning in class. So we provide the questions as well. We also have resources by quarter here underneath ELA and math. Once you click on those resources, you'll also see a family video. And that family video will give you an inside, upfront, first row seat to what your children are learning. What we just went over, what Sonia and I just went over, these videos give you a higher overview of what and it's visual. So you'll be able to see and hear all about what they're doing. Okay, so the videos are linked right here at the top, that little bitty square there. And then math has the same resources for the families as well, with the video. And this is that postcard I was telling you about, where it has the QR code that it'll take you right to the website. And then on the back, it gives you the instructions for how to navigate the website, what I just went through. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, it even gives you a calendar, because sometimes we're like, oh, they're out of school today. Oh, what quarter is it today? And if you just kind of scan it, it'll pull up the school calendar for you. So it'll be right there on your phone, and you can screenshot it and save it. So I just kind of explained both the front and the back of the postcard. So now we're going to try it. We're going to try to navigate the website because we have this nice PowerPoint that shows you how to do it, but now we're going to see how to do it. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to do it live and try to share this so you can see. Okay, and Sonia's going to let me know because sometimes when I share my screen, you all don't necessarily always see. So I might have to refresh it. So we're going to try it. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay. Can everybody see? Okay. So we go to www.cms.k12.nc.us. Okay. All right. So here's our website. And then it's like, whoa, it's a lot going on. CMS, make sure you all are informed. All right. So we have the families. You see, I told you it's the families. And you can go down right here. It's one access point. And then here's the grade band, elementary. And then we're going to go to second grade. Because remember, I told you we watch a second grade and fourth grade video for math and reading. Here's the guide that I was referring to earlier. Get all of the resources. And look, Spanish is up there. Last time I think Spanish had gotten deleted, but it's up there now. So we have them in all of the different languages. And then here are the resources I mentioned. Once you click on a quarter, you click on a quarter, you have the quarter video there. Okay. And then we're going to go to math. Just want to make sure you all see all of this. See all of this. There you go. So then we go to math. And you see the quarter two video. Oh, video's not there. You see the quarter two skills there. Okay. And did you want to mention something?
The quarter two videos are coming for K-5 math, so be on the lookout. So it'll be at the top of the list of skills that you see here.
All right, now let's look at the fourth grade. So we can go back out. We can go down to four. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go down to fourth. And we have the guide again. If you can look, this is what I was telling you here, topics to discuss with the teacher. And then once you, and one of the things I want to do is to actually go into the resource guide for a moment and share that with you. So you can take a moment to just see the skills. And I wanted you to just kind of look through the topics to discuss with to discuss with teachers. Then I also want to show you math. So Sonia can look at the math.
And again, these are key skills that that students will learn throughout that particular quarter or throughout a particular unit of study. So just know that these are not all of the skills. These are high level skills, and you will see subsets of skills come home through your students' homework or through other communications.
And I'll just scroll down so you can kind of see math as well. You see math has a lot of their skills broken up there. And there are the topics. And we also have learning activities and we have them for both math and literacy as well in the resource guide. Okay. We move down. Thank you all. We'll go to quarter two. And here's quarter one. Those of you who were not a part of our Lunch and Learn before, we thought that we could show this again as well. This was really something special as we move, because we still have about 2 weeks and a day for quarter one that they are finishing up assessments. And so Sonia wanted us to make sure we showed this video to reloop this, because remember, she talked about the importance of fractions, and she had talked about the importance of the factors and multiples and all of those things. So we wanted to just kind of talk about those too. And then, do you want me to share, or you can talk through which one?
Actually, will you play the Unit 2 video?
Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to push play for Unit 2. Let me make sure that I'm sharing my sound. I'm sorry. I need you all to hear that. Okay, let's start it.
For fourth grade math. I'm your host, Stephanie Conlon, an elementary content specialist with the Learning and Teaching Department here in CMS, and I want to welcome you to our session today. By the end of our video, I'm hoping that you'll have some answers to these three big questions. What is your child learning in quarter one? What does it look like? And what can you do at home to help? So I'm going to be going through 3 different units where we'll learn about each of these ideas, and we're going to start by looking at a broad overview of the first quarter. So in quarter one, we start with factors and multiples. A lot of language and vocabulary are introduced in this unit. And then we move into unit 2 with fraction equivalence and comparison. A lot of the work that fourth graders do build on the work they've done in third grade and build toward the work that they'll be doing in fifth grade. And then wrapping up quarter one, we have unit 3, which is extending operations to fractions, and specifically that includes addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So after students explore factors and multiples using lots of hands-on experiences, language routines, and problem solving, now we jump into fraction equivalence and comparison. Like I said before, this work is building on their experiences from third grade and helps build up toward their work in fifth grade. So these are the types of tasks that students might be exploring in fourth grade during their work in this unit. Students in Unit 2 are expected to use bar diagrams like we see here in the purple box to help us find equivalent fractions, number lines, and benchmark fractions to help us compare multiple fractions like you see in the orange box, and reason about problems like you see here in the white box using what they are knowing and learning in Unit 2. So what does this look like? Well, I'm about to show you now. So I wanted to bring us a task that would allow us to look at number lines, as students will be working with number lines quite a bit in Unit 2, and also give us 2 fractions where neither the top number called the numerator, 7 or 6, nor the bottom number, 8 and 5. These aren't the same. So in third grade, students work with either the same numerator or the same denominator, but in fourth grade, we extend that work past that point and we mix up the numbers for numerators and denominators. So the first thing I wanted to do was build out 2 number lines. For this number line, we're going from 0 to 1 whole, or 8/8. And I say it's 8/8 because we're jumping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal sized jumps to get to 1, or 8/8. And here we have fifths. Notice that these start and stop at the same place, because fourth graders learn that we have to use the same size whole or the same size number line distance in order to compare 2 different fractions. And this number line is in fifths. That means there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps to get to 1 whole. So the first thing I want to know is how close each of these fractions would be to 1. So that's one of those benchmark fractions I was talking about when I mentioned that orange box at the beginning of our Unit 2 video. How close am I to 1/2? And for 7/8, we're right here. We're 1/8, one jump away from a whole. So this is where 7/8 would be on my first number line. Now, for my second number line, it only goes to 5/5. So if we count from 0 by fifths, we have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. So the mystery here is, where do I put 6/5? Where does that even fit here? And the idea here for students is that when we work with fractions where the numerator is larger than the denominator, we want to extend past 1/2. We need another jump that's the size of a fifth to get to 6/5. Another way to say this would be 1, and then 1/2, and then a jump of 1 more fifth. So 2 ways to say this amount. So in this case, which is bigger, I can see that 6/5 goes past our 1/2 point, and so this fraction is bigger. It's more than 1. It's greater than 1. 7/8 is just 1/8 jump away, but 6/5 is actually one jump after a whole in fifths. So 6/5 is bigger than 7/8. So knowing these strategies that are most helpful for students in comparing and generating equivalent fractions, here's a task that you can do at home with your student. Which is bigger, or which would you rather have? So you can turn this yellow, bright yellow, sticky note looking square in the middle of the screen here into maybe a task about cupcakes or pizza or anything else that your child is interested in. So which is bigger, or which would you rather have? 7/8 of something or 6/5 of something? And again, we have some helpful questions in the purple box. How are these fractions alike or different? What strategy could you use to compare them? And is there a different strategy you might use? We often ask students to think of more than one way to solve a problem. So the solutions are there in the green box to the right. And in this case, we're looking at 6/5 as being larger because 6 of 6 parts of 1/5 means you have more than 1/2. And so the reasoning over here, the language we want students to use, is also included. Thank you so much for joining me, and please feel free to check out the resources using the QR code below to gain access to our family website for CMS. Hey everyone, welcome to the quarter one.
That was really good. Good job, fourth grade math. And look how detailed that was. And that's what I'm saying. They were actually showing you the how behind it. So not just what they are learning or what your students are learning, but it's like how, because sometimes that's the disconnect. Like we don't know, and me, being a literacy parent, it's really nice to have these videos to be able to show me, oh, this is the language that's being used.
Absolutely. And a lot of times students are using language that's new to them and they're trying to connect it to the work that they're doing. And the nice part about the math vocabulary that was shown and was explained in the video is that students are connecting it in real time to the actual actions of solving problems. So they're not learning vocabulary in isolation. They're actually attaching meaning to it. So everything starts to make a little bit more sense to them, especially when they are solving word problems.
And we will go back to second grade in a moment, but I wanted to circle back to literacy for a moment because the fourth graders at this moment are preparing for really big events across the district. It is the poetry celebrations. They are ending a very robust poetry unit. So across the district, they've written their own poems, and then they're writing an essay that discusses what inspires them or what inspired them to write and how that showed up in their poem. So ask your children about their poems. Ask your school. They may have already reached out to you about the poetry celebrations, but just to give you a little recap, I wanted to share this with you.
What makes a poem a poem? What inspires people to write poetry?
With their curious nature and a growing love for language and wordplay, fourth grade is a perfect time to play with poetry. The start of the school year is designed to help students embrace a love of reading and writing, while developing important social and academic skills to prepare them for success in the years of school ahead. This might look a little different than when you were in school. In the EL education curriculum, students dive deeply into a topic. They use this knowledge to develop literacy skills like reading, writing, speaking, and listening in a meaningful way. In Module 1, fourth graders read books and poems closely and carefully, identify characteristics of poetry, summarize poems that they read, examine the lives, work, and inspiration of famous poets, and write their own poems to entertain others. Module 1 includes 3 units, each about 2 weeks long, that build from one to the next. They are Unit 1, Reading and Analyzing Poetry, Love That Dog, and Famous Poems. Unit 2, Writing to Inform, What inspires writers to write poetry? Unit 3, Writing to Entertain. In Module 1, Unit 1, students learn what poetry is and read a variety of poems. They answer the questions, what makes a poem, and what inspires writers to write poetry? Learning is focused on reading about famous poems and poets, identifying what makes a poem, analyzing poems to understand themes, and comparing poems with prose or short stories. In Module 1, Unit 2, students continue to think about the inspiration for poems they read. They explore the questions, what makes a poem, and what inspires writers to write poetry? Their learning is focused on reading and identifying the inspiration for famous poems, collecting evidence to support their thinking, and writing informative essays about famous poets. In Module 1, Unit 3, students think about what inspires them to write poetry, and they write and share their own original poems. They answer the questions, what makes a poem, and what inspires writers to write poetry? Their learning is focused on writing a poem about something that's important to them, revising for word and phrase choice, creative use of punctuation, analyzing their own poem, and preparing to read their original poem aloud. There's a lot you can do to support your student at home. You can read poems aloud together and talk about their meaning. Find your favorite poems and talk about what you like about them, and make lists or draw pictures of things that inspire and excite students to help them write their own poetry. Talk with them about habits of character like initiative, responsibility, and perseverance, and identify examples of these traits in people you know. You are an important part of your students' learning at school and at home. We hope this peek into their learning will start conversations between you, your student, and their teacher as you get ready to learn and explore with your student at home.
Okay. So now we are going to go back. So that's what I was telling you about the poetry, and it takes them through in Unit 1. They're building their background knowledge. In Unit 2, they're becoming experts. And then Unit 3, guess what? They're performing. They're ready. They're ready. So ask your students all about what they've learned about poetry, the similes, and all the figurative language. All right, so let's go to second grade, and we're going to start with math. Sonia wanted me to revisit something with math, so okay, I sure will. I'm moving it. I'm driving today. I'm driving the, all right. Just push play. Okay.
Hello, and welcome to the Quarter 1 Family video for 2nd grade math. I'm Caitlin Eubanks, Elementary Math Curriculum Specialist. By the end of this video, I hope you will know the answers to these 3 big questions. What is my child learning in Quarter 1? How does it look? And what can I do to help at home? In 2nd grade, Quarter 1 includes the first 3 units. Unit 1, adding and subtracting and working with data. Unit 2, adding and subtracting within 100. And students will begin working on Unit 3, but that will be continued in Quarter 2. In Unit 1, students build on what they learned about addition and subtraction in 1st grade. They work on developing fluency with addition and subtraction facts within 20. They learn how to interpret and represent data on picture graphs and bar graphs, and they use these graphs to solve story problems involving addition and subtraction within 100. They also learn about a brand new representation called the tape diagram. This helps them to apply their understanding of the relationship between addition and subtraction to solve problems. Let's take a peek at what this looks like. In the first section of Unit 1, students use what they know about the relationship between addition and subtraction to find the missing values in the equations. These are the same strategies that they learned in 1st grade, such as making a 10, counting on, and counting back, to add within 50 and subtract within 20. For example, making a 10 when solving 8 plus 7 might look like the students breaking apart the number 7 into 2 and 5. Then students might make a 10 by adding 8 plus 2. Last, students will add the 5 to 10 to make 15. Students will later use these same strategies to add and subtract within 100. In the next section, students are asked to make sense of 2 data representations, a picture graph and a bar graph. Students learn to represent and interpret data on these graphs and ask and answer questions based on the data. In the last section of Unit 1, students put together what they learned about addition and subtraction and graphs to solve story problems involving addition and subtraction within 100. The tape diagram is introduced in this section, and it supports students with making sense of story problems and understanding the relationship between addition and subtraction. As an example, the word problem shown can be represented in this tape diagram. Noah spent 25 minutes swimming. Jada spent 30 more minutes swimming than Noah. How many minutes did Jada spend swimming? Here we can see Noah's time is represented, and Jada's time is represented by Noah's time and 30 more minutes. Some things that you can try at home is to show students picture graphs or bar graphs and have them write as many statements as they can about those graphs. For example, students might come up with these statements when looking at this graph. More people like dogs than cats. The least amount of people like lizards. 2 more people like fish than lizards. This is also a great opportunity to have your students make their own graphs at home. You can have them come up with questions to ask their family or friends about and make their own graph to represent that data. Students can also practice problems like this. Let's look at some strategies students might use when solving this problem at home. When solving a problem like this at home, students might use a tape diagram to help them interpret this word problem. This is what that might look like. Andre read 45 pages of his book last night. Priya read 20 fewer pages of her book than Andre. How many pages did Priya read? Explain or show your reasoning. Students might start by representing what they know about Andre. Andre read 45 pages last night. They know that Priya read fewer pages than Andre, so her amount is going to be fewer or less. It says that Priya read 20 fewer pages, so it's 20 less or 20 fewer pages than Andre. Now I need to figure out how many pages did Priya read. So students are left with the equation 45 minus the 20 fewer pages equals the amount that Priya read. Students will use strategies that they've learned in 1st grade already to solve problems like this. One of those strategies is using a hundreds chart. This might look like starting at the number 45, and then students count up by groups of 10. So I'm going to subtract 20. 10, 20, 45, minus 20 equals 25. Another way that students might solve that they're familiar with is by drawing tens frames. Tens frames are a group of 10 in a frame. So here I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. And I know that I need to subtract 20. So I will take away one group of 10 and a second group of 10. That leaves me with 10, 25, 25. Students may also think of this as tens and ones. They might represent the 45 with 4 10 sticks, 10, 20, 30, 40, and the ones with 5 one dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They know that they're subtracting 20, or 2 groups of 10. 10, 20. And again, they're left with 2 tens and 5 ones. So I know that Priya read 25 pages last night. Thank you, families, for joining us for our first second grade mathematics family video. Thank you for partnering with us at home. We are confident that with your encouragement and support, our young mathematicians will gain a wealth of knowledge and develop a strong foundation in mathematics during this first quarter. Hello, and welcome.
During the second grade video, a representation was mentioned called the tape diagram. The tape diagram is new this school year because we have a new curriculum that introduces it as a way to represent word problems and a way to solve problems. It's introduced in second grade, but it's used second through fifth grade. So some students may come home talking about this tape diagram, which looks like a bar diagram from kindergarten and first grade of last year. Just be on the lookout and just know it is a way for them to set up their word problems, figure out the parts that they do have, and then find the part that they do not know yet.
That is new for me. That's great to know. All right, so we're going to go back and look at, sorry, y'all. We're going to go back here and we're going to find our home. We have our second grade resources. So we're going to go here and just to kind of pop in, we want to pop in on literacy. Again, I do want to go over the quarter 2 skills. I do want to let you know that all of the literacy family videos are set to be uploaded. I see a question. Someone has a hand raised. That was the first time. All of the videos will be uploaded today. So that'll be for all quarters. So even if you wanted to peek ahead a minute, you'll see that. So now that you know how to access the website, you'll know how to get to those resources. So the family video, we do have about 12 minutes remaining. So we will watch this video as a recap because I know we have new families on, but we will allow you all, please use the FAQ if you have questions. I do see a hand raised, but we're not able to interact with you that way. But I do know you can ask your question on the FAQ. Okay. So again, we have a few weeks remaining, a couple of weeks remaining in our quarter 1. So you will still, these videos are very relevant to what's happening right now. And as you're preparing your students to end and to round off this particular quarter. So let's get started.
What is school and why are schools important? Why is it hard for some kids to go to school and what can communities do about it? How are schools around the world similar and different?
Second graders are naturally observant with a strong sense of what is fair. Their curiosity about big topics and their desire to know why things are the way they are sets the stage for powerful learning as they dive deep into a topic they know well. School. In this module, They'll study schools around the world as they build skills that support positive social interactions and prepare them for success in their years of school ahead. This might look a little different than when you were in school. In the EL education curriculum, students dive deeply into a topic. They use this knowledge to develop literacy skills like reading, writing, speaking, and listening in a meaningful way. In Module 1, second graders listen to and closely study a variety of books about schools. Research schools around the world by examining texts, photos, and videos. Use what they have learned to write about how communities overcome challenges that schools face. Participate in a variety of discussions, and sing songs about their learning. Module 1 includes 3 units that build from one to the next, each about 2 weeks long. They are Unit 1, Building Our Background Knowledge, Schools and Their Importance. Unit 2, Reading and Writing Informational Texts, Challenges in Going to School. Unit 3, Performance Task, the most important thing about schools. In Module 1, Unit 1, students learn about the importance of schools, different types of learning, and similarities and differences in schools across the world. They answer the question, what are schools and why are they so important? Their learning is focused on what makes something a school, the importance of schools in communities, reading and listening to stories about different types of schools, and researching the similarities and differences between schools around the world. In Module 1, Unit 2, students continue to study schools, why they are important, and challenges some students may face. They answer the question, why is it hard for some children to go to school in their community? Their learning is focused on reading and researching about schools around the world, understanding why weather and location can make it difficult for some children to go to school, identifying how communities solve problems so that students have a place they can learn, and using their research to write and draw about what they've learned. In Module 1, Unit 3, students use what they know about schools, the problems they face, and how people work together to solve those problems. They answer the questions. How are schools around the world different? How are they similar? Their learning is focused on reading closely to compare and contrast their school with schools around the world, choosing a school they'd like to research more, and writing, revising, and editing their own book about the importance of schools. You can help your student at home by practicing literacy skills in the same ways they are learning at school, like talking about your own experiences with school and learning as you were growing up, talking to friends, family, and neighbors about why school is important to them, and writing and drawing about the importance of school and learning, and singing songs that they've learned in school. You are an important part of your students' learning at school and at home. We hope this peek into their learning will start conversations between you, your student, and their teacher as you get ready to learn and play with your student at home.
Let's see, and welcome back. So you see how these videos can empower you, that word that we talked about in the beginning. It can give you a front row seat to what the students are learning. It's almost like you're going to be in the classroom as well, and you'll be able to have those conversations that support what we're doing in the classrooms and what the teachers are doing with your students. And they'll be so shocked when you start asking them about poetry or some of the things that they're learning. It's like, how do you know that? It's because you've done your own research and you've been on the website. All right. So we are going to head out here. I am going to back out and These are all of this is how we access. Hopefully, that provided you with a little bit of understanding with how you navigate the site. I did want to, let's see. Let me stop sharing for a moment. Okay, I had to stop sharing. All right, so at this time, we do have the FAQ where we are asking you to write whatever questions you have on the FAQ. We want to thank you for attending our Lunch and Learn. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for attending today's Family Academy course. Please check back on the website periodically. And thank you for being here. We really appreciate you being a part of our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so, so much.